Welcome back. Tonight, we drift through the sleepy streets of Cairo. So wherever you are, however your day has been, you have nothing to do now but rest. There are no twists tonight, nothing to follow, nothing you need to remember in the morning. A city of ochre dust and warm stone, breathing slow under the lingering heat. We'll drift slowly, in no hurry to be anywhere at all. If these journeys help you rest, you're welcome to follow along, but only if you'd like to. And if you're listening now, leave the name of your city and the time where you are. Wherever you're listening from, you're in good company tonight. So let yourself settle. Let your shoulders soften, and let your eyes close whenever they're ready. Breathe in slowly, and let it go. There's no need to stay awake for any of this. Just let the streets of Cairo come to you. Every city has a reason for being where it is. For Cairo, that reason is the river. The city sits at a perfect, powerful spot. It is right where the long, narrow Nile Valley finally blossoms into its wide green delta. This is the last strategic point before the river fans out toward the sea. For thousands of years, anyone who controlled this spot could control all of Egypt. It was the natural place for a capital to rise, a gatekeeper between the country's upper and lower halves. The city exists here because the land itself seemed to ask for it. It is a place built on a geographic certainty, a quiet anchor at the top of a fertile triangle. The river made the city possible, and the city in turn learned to command the river. Long before the city we know, there was another. It was called Fustat, founded in the year 641. This was the first Arab capital in Egypt. It began as a simple military camp for a conquering army. A quiet legend tells the story of its location. The general was ready to move his camp, but he saw a dove had laid an egg in his tent. He saw this as a sign from above. He decided the tent and the camp should not be moved. So Fustat grew around this spot of gentle intervention. It became a bustling city in its own right. Its dusty ruins now lie quietly beside the modern metropolis, a memory of the first settlement that chose this bend in the river. It was a city born from a moment of stillness. The city we call Cairo came later, in the year 969. It was built by a new power, the Fatimid dynasty. They named it Al-Qahira, which means the victorious. But this was not a city for everyone. It was built as a grand royal enclosure, a place apart. Massive walls were constructed to surround it. Inside was a world for the caliph, his court, and his soldiers. It was intentionally separate from the common city of Fustat nearby. The new city was a symbol of power and prestige. It was a private world of palaces and gardens. while the old city continued its busy commercial life just down the road. This separation is why Cairo began its life as two distinct places, one royal and one common. If you look at a map of Islamic Cairo, you see a beautiful maze. The streets are not a grid. They twist and turn like ancient footpaths. This is because the city grew organically for hundreds of years. It all happened inside those original Fatimid walls. People built their homes and shops along familiar routes. New alleys formed in the spaces between buildings. Property lines became permanent pathways. There was no grand plan from above dictating the shape of the streets. Instead, the city was shaped by countless small decisions made by the people who lived there. This is why the old city feels so intimate and surprising. Every corner holds the memory of a path someone chose to walk long ago. It is a city shaped by footsteps. The city's center of power shifted in the 12th century. This was because of one man's decision. The ruler Saladin chose to build a mighty citadel on a hill overlooking the city. This move fundamentally changed Cairo. The government was no longer down in the walled city. It was now up in a high fortified castle. The citadel became a powerful symbol of military rule. For the next 700 years, it would dominate Cairo's skyline. It also dominated the city's politics. From this high perch, rulers could watch over the population below. The city now had a new focal point, a stony crown that reminded everyone where the real power was held. It was a visible statement, written in limestone against the sky, that a new era had begun. A new group came to power after Saladin. They were the Mamluks, a dynasty of former slave soldiers. They would transform Cairo into a global center of art and learning. Their great wealth came from controlling the spice trade between the East and Europe. With this money, they began to build. They funded hundreds of beautiful mosques, grand mausoleums, and important schools. These structures were built with incredible ambition and skill. They are the reason the city's historic core looks the way it does today. The Mamluks left their mark everywhere, in towering minarets and intricately carved domes. They turned their wealth into a lasting architectural legacy. Their buildings are not just stone and mortar. They are the story of a golden age, a time when Cairo was the brightest star in the Islamic world. The golden age of the Mamluks came to a sudden and terrible end. In the middle of the 14th century, the Black Death arrived in Cairo. The plague was a catastrophe for the crowded city. It is estimated that nearly 40% of the population died. This immense loss of life brought the city to its knees. The great building projects stopped. The economy collapsed. The vibrant energy of the Mamluk era was extinguished. Cairo entered a long period of decline. Its population shrank, and its fortunes faded. This was a profound turning point in the city's history. The plague did not just kill people, it halted the momentum of a great civilization. The city that emerged from the shadow of the plague was a quieter, more cautious version of its former self. Centuries later, another turning point arrived from the sea. In 1798, Napoleon Bonaparte invaded Egypt. The French occupation was brief, lasting only 3 years. But its impact was enormous. This was the catalyst for Cairo's entry into the modern world. Napoleon brought not only soldiers but also a large group of scholars and engineers. They came to study every aspect of the country. Their work was published in a monumental series of books called the Description de l'Égypte. It was the first comprehensive survey of Egypt ever produced. This incredible work sparked an intense interest in Egypt throughout Europe. The invasion opened the country to new ideas and technologies. It was a violent and disruptive encounter, but it set Cairo on a new path toward modernization, forever changing its relationship with the West. There is a part of Cairo that feels like it belongs in Europe. The wide boulevards and grand buildings of downtown Cairo are no accident. They are the result of one ruler's grand ambition. In the 1860s, Khedive Ismail visited Paris. He was amazed by its beauty and modernity. He returned to Egypt, determined to build a new Cairo that would rival it. He wanted, in his own words, to make Cairo a piece of Europe. He hired European architects to design a whole new district next to the old city. They laid out grand squares and lined the new streets with elegant, neoclassical buildings. This is why downtown Cairo has a distinctly European feel. It is a physical manifestation of a single vision, a dream of Paris on the Nile. Khedive Ismail also championed the construction of the Suez Canal. He saw it as a project that would bring Egypt wealth and international prestige. But the canal, and his other ambitious projects, came at a staggering cost. The country fell into massive debt. To raise money, Ismail was forced to sell Egypt's shares in the canal company. The buyer was the British government. This sale had disastrous consequences. It gave Britain a crucial financial and strategic foothold in Egypt. The debt crisis continued to worsen. Eventually, it became the pretext for a full British invasion and occupation in 1882. The very project that was meant to secure Egypt's glorious future, ironically led to its downfall. The canal that connected seas ended up leading to the loss of a country's independence for decades. There is a large, leafy island in the middle of the Nile in Cairo. It is called Zamalek. The reason it became such a wealthy and exclusive neighborhood is because of the British. During the occupation, British officials and elites preferred the island to the bustling city. It was quieter and its breezes felt cooler. They established the Grand Gezira Sporting Club as their private playground. They built elegant villas with lush gardens along its quiet streets. This set the tone for the neighborhood's future. Zamalek became the preferred address for Egypt's own upper classes and foreign diplomats. The island's identity as a calm, green and upscale enclave was established by those early colonial residents. It remains a quiet refuge from the city's energy, a legacy of a time when the British sought a piece of home on the Nile. Not far from the city's bustling center is a neighborhood with a unique design. It is called Garden City. It was also designed by the British in the early 20th century. But unlike the grand boulevards of downtown, its streets were laid out on a curve. The plan looks like a spider's web. This was done on purpose. The winding streets were meant to discourage through traffic. They created a quiet and secluded enclave for the colonial elite who lived there. The design worked. Even today, Garden City feels like a place apart. Its calm, tree-lined streets are a sharp contrast to the grid of the surrounding city. It was a clever piece of urban planning, using curved lines to build a bubble of tranquility right next to the heart of the capital. The year 1952 brought a dramatic change to Cairo. A group of military officers led a revolution that overthrew the monarchy. The leader of this new government was Gamal Abdel Nasser. His revolution completely shifted the city's development. The new government nationalized many industries and businesses. They took control of properties that had belonged to the royal family and the colonial elite. Grand palaces were repurposed as government ministries. Exclusive private clubs were open to the public. The city's symbols of wealth and foreign influence were reclaimed for the Egyptian people. This was a time of great social and political upheaval. The revolution aimed to erase the colonial past and build a new, independent Egypt. The physical landscape of Cairo was one of the first things to be reshaped in this new image. One of Cairo's most famous modern landmarks is a direct result of the Cold War. The Cairo Tower stands tall on Zamalek Island. It was built with money given to President Nasser by the American CIA. The money was intended as a secret bribe. The Americans wanted Nasser to stop his anti-American propaganda. But Nasser was a clever political operator. He took the money and then publicly exposed the bribe to the Egyptian people. He declared that he would use America's money to build a proud symbol of Arab nationalism and resistance. And so, the Cairo Tower was built. It stands as a tall, elegant monument to a moment of political defiance. It is a piece of architecture born not from a blueprint, but from a bold political statement on the world stage. In the second half of the 20th century, Cairo began to grow at an incredible speed. The reason for this explosive growth was a massive wave of migration from the countryside. Millions of people left their villages and flocked to the capital. They were searching for work, education, and a better life. The city could not build housing fast enough to keep up. This led to the rise of huge informal housing settlements, known as ashwayat. These neighborhoods were often built without official planning or permits. They grew on the city's periphery, spreading out into the desert or onto agricultural land. They became a defining feature of modern Cairo. They are a testament to the powerful draw of the capital and the immense challenge of housing its ever-growing population. The city's ancient northern cemetery has a unique story. It is known as the City of the Dead. For centuries, it was a place of tombs and mausoleums. But over time, it became a place for the living as well. A severe housing crisis in Cairo pushed people to find shelter wherever they could. Some families were originally hired as guardians for the grand tombs. They built small homes for themselves among the monuments. Over generations, these small settlements grew into a vast informal neighborhood. Today, hundreds of thousands of people live and work here. They have created a community with its own shops, cafes and workshops. It is a startling example of how the city adapts, turning a city of tombs into a city of life when the need arises. In the 1960s, a massive project in the south of Egypt forever changed Cairo's relationship with its river. The construction of the Aswan High Dam was a monumental engineering feat. Its main purpose was to control the Nile's annual flood. For thousands of years, this flood had defined Egyptian life. It brought water for irrigation and deposited a rich layer of nourishing silt on the fields. The dam put an end to this ancient cycle. This allowed for permanent construction right along the riverbanks in Cairo for the first time. But it also stopped the flow of silt that had made the valley so fertile. The dam tamed the river, but it also disconnected the city from the natural rhythm that had sustained it for millennia. The Nile became a more predictable but less generous neighbor. There was a time when Cairo's grand boulevards had a different sound. The city once had an extensive tram system. Elegant, often double-decker trams glided along the main avenues. They were a clean and efficient form of public transit. But in the age of the automobile, the trams were seen as old-fashioned and slow. City planners decided to prioritize cars. The tram tracks were torn up to make more room for traffic. This decision had long-lasting consequences. It contributed to the city's now legendary traffic congestion. It also erased a more sustainable and graceful way of moving through the city. The memory of the trams now exists only in old photographs. They are a reminder of a different vision for Cairo's streets, a vision that was paved over to make way for the car. To deal with its immense traffic, Cairo built an artery through its heart. The 6th of October Bridge is one of the longest in the world. It is more than just a bridge. It is an elevated highway that stitches the sprawling city together. It was built out of necessity, in phases, over a period of 30 years. It was designed to relieve the endless congestion on the streets below. But the bridge also created its own reality. It dictated new patterns of movement and growth across the city. It became the central spine of the metropolis. For millions of Cairenes, the daily commute across its long expanse is a defining experience of urban life. The bridge that was built to solve a problem became a fundamental part of the city's character, a river of concrete flowing above the streets. Many of the older buildings in Cairo have a distinctive feature. They are covered in beautiful wooden lattice screens. These are called mashrabiyas. They were not just for decoration. They were a clever solution to the challenges of the climate and culture. The intricate screens provided shade from the harsh sun, while still allowing cool breezes to circulate through the rooms. They also offered privacy. From inside, women could look out onto the street without being seen themselves. This was a key element of traditional Islamic domestic architecture. The mashrabiya is a perfect example of how form and function can come together. It is a beautiful object that also solved practical problems of light, air, and social custom. It is a quiet, elegant technology that shaped the feel of the traditional Cairene home. For many years, a giant mountain of garbage stood in the heart of historic Cairo. It was a 500-year-old pile of rubble and waste. It was a scar on the landscape, right next to some of the city's most important monuments. Then, a remarkable transformation began. The Aga Khan Trust for Culture initiated a massive project to clear the site. It was a huge undertaking. As the workers dug down, they uncovered a section of the historic Ayyubid city wall that had been buried for centuries. After the trash was gone, the area was transformed into a beautiful green space. It was named Al-Azhar Park. It is now a vital green lung for the city, a place of gardens, fountains, and stunning views. It is a powerful story of urban renewal. In 1992, the ground beneath Cairo shook. A powerful earthquake struck the city, causing widespread damage. The disaster was a tragic wake-up call. It revealed the vulnerability of many of the city's buildings. Historic mosques and monuments in Islamic Cairo were badly damaged. Many of the informally built apartment blocks in the Ishwayat proved to be dangerously unsafe. The earthquake brought a new sense of urgency to two major issues. It spurred new and more serious efforts to conserve the city's priceless Islamic heritage. It also forced the government and the public to pay attention to the unsafe living conditions in the vast informal settlements. The earthquake was a moment of trauma, but it also led to a renewed focus on preserving the past and securing a safer future for the city's residents. In the last few decades, a new kind of city has appeared in the desert around Cairo. Places like New Cairo and 6th of October City are known as satellite cities. Their creation was a deliberate government strategy. The goal was to de-densify the overcrowded capital. The government encouraged people and businesses to move to these new, planned communities. This created a new urban reality for millions of people. It led to a landscape of long commutes on desert highways. It also created a more fragmented social life. The old, dense neighborhoods of Cairo fostered a strong sense of community. The new suburbs are more spread out and private. This strategy has reshaped the metropolitan area, pulling people and resources ever further out from the historic heart of the city. The revolution of 2011 left a permanent scar on the skyline of downtown Cairo. During the height of the uprising, the headquarters of the ruling National Democratic Party was set on fire. The massive building stood right next to the iconic Egyptian Museum, on the edge of Tahrir Square. After the fire was put out, the building was an empty, charred shell. For years it stood there as a powerful and unavoidable reminder of the revolution. Its blackened facade and empty windows were a physical testament to the climax of the uprising. It was a ghost building in the heart of the city, a silent monument to the moment the people rose up and brought down a regime. It was a wound on the cityscape that told a story of profound change. The latest chapter in Cairo's story is being written in the desert. The Egyptian government is building a massive new administrative capital. It is located deep in the sand, far to the east of the current city. This is the most ambitious attempt yet to reshape Cairo. The plan is to move the entire government out of the historic capital. All the ministries, the parliament and the presidential palaces will be relocated to this new city. This project will fundamentally alter Cairo's center of gravity. For over 1,000 years, the heart of Egypt has been on the Nile. This new capital represents a monumental shift away from the river. It is a gamble on a new future, one that leaves the old, crowded, historic city behind. In a quiet part of the old city stands the Mosque of Ibn Tulun. It is one of the oldest and largest mosques in Cairo, a vast space of quiet contemplation. Its most unusual feature is its minaret. Unlike any other in Egypt, it has a grand spiral staircase on its exterior. The design is said to be inspired by the ancient minaret of Samarra in Iraq. You can still climb this staircase today. As you wind your way up the outside of the tower, the city unfolds below you. The view from the top is a stunning panorama of rooftops, minarets, and the distant citadel. It's a unique experience, a slow, spiraling ascent that connects you to the building's deep history and its place within the sprawling city. Hidden away on the southern tip of Rhode Island is a remarkable piece of ancient engineering. It is the Nilemeter, a structure built to measure the height of the river's annual flood. You descend a flight of stairs into a deep, stone-lined well. This well is connected to the Nile through tunnels. In the center stands a tall, octagonal column. This column is marked with lines in cubits, the ancient unit of measurement. For centuries, this device was crucial. The tax rates for the year were set based on the height of the flood. A low flood meant famine, while a high flood meant disaster. The Nilemeter was a way to predict the country's fortune. It is a quiet, powerful reminder of a time when the entire life of the city depended on the river's rhythm. In the ancient neighborhood of Coptic Cairo, you can find the Church of St. Sergius and Bacchus. It is one of the oldest churches in the city. But its most sacred space is hidden underground. Beneath the main floor is a small crypt. This damp, quiet cavern is believed to be a place where the Holy Family rested. They came to Egypt to escape King Herod. According to tradition, they stayed in this very spot. Whether history or legend, the space has a powerful sense of peace. For centuries, pilgrims have come here to pray in the small, stone-walled room. It is a place of deep spiritual significance, a quiet anchor of faith, buried beneath the bustling streets of Old Cairo. It feels like a secret the city has been keeping for 2,000 years. The Coptic Museum itself is a kind of architectural collection. The building that houses the artifacts is an exhibit in its own right. When the museum was built in the early 20th century, its creators incorporated old architectural elements. These pieces were rescued from churches and homes that were being demolished. As you walk through the galleries, you will see beautiful carved wooden ceilings from the medieval period. You will notice intricate mashrubia screens that have been built into the walls. Marble fountains that once cooled the courtyards of old Coptic houses now stand in the museum's halls. The building is a mosaic of rescued fragments. It is a quiet and beautiful tribute to a heritage that might otherwise have been lost, a museum built from the pieces of the past. The old city of Cairo was once protected by massive walls and gates. One of the most impressive of these is Bab Zuwayla. This enormous stone gate was built in the 11th century. It is a powerful statement of the city's medieval strength. A strange and beautiful feature was added later. Two elegant minarets were built directly on top of the gate's two towers. They belong to the nearby mosque of Al-Murayyad. You can climb the gate today. The entrance is a small, unassuming door. The climb takes you up through the towers and onto the roof. From there you can walk along a restored section of the old Fatimid wall. It offers a unique perspective on the bustling street life of the market below, a view from atop history. Tucked away on a busy street in Islamic Cairo is the Beit al-Suhaimi. It is a perfectly preserved, Ottoman-era merchant's house. Stepping inside is like stepping back in time. The house is designed around a central courtyard. This was a private oasis, hidden from the noise and dust of the street. A small marble fountain in the center would have cooled the air with the sound of trickling water. All the rooms of the house open inward onto this courtyard. Their large windows are covered with intricate mashrabiyah screens. This design created a cool, private, and well-ventilated home. It is a beautiful example of how traditional architecture can create a sanctuary of peace and quiet, right in the middle of a dense and bustling city. The house is a quiet lesson in elegant design. Just next door to the Beit al-Suhaimi is another historic house with a story. The Geyer Anderson Museum is actually two houses, not one. The first was built in the 16th century, the second in the 17th. They were later connected by a small, elevated bridge. An English major named Geyer Anderson lived here in the 1930s, and filled the house with his collection of art and furniture. The house has its secrets. One of them is a hidden chamber, known as the Bat Room. It was a small, dark space, where a colony of bats once lived. It is accessible only through a secret door, hidden in the paneling of one of the main rooms. It's a small, strange detail, in a house full of beautiful objects, a reminder of its long and layered history. The famous Khan el-Khalili Bazaar is not a single building. It is a vast and confusing district of alleyways, courtyards, and covered passages. It has been the commercial heart of Cairo for over 600 years. Some of its oldest structures are the original caravanserais. These were historic inns where traveling merchants could stay with their animals and their goods. You can still see the stone archways and heavy wooden doors of these old buildings. They are hidden among the modern souvenir shops. Most of what you see today is from later periods, a dense layering of centuries of commerce. The bazaar is a living organism, constantly changing and adapting. But if you look closely, you can still find the bones of the medieval market, buried just beneath the surface of the present. On a busy street corner in Islamic Cairo stands a small, perfect building. It is the Sabil Kutab of Abdul Rahman Katkhuda. It is a masterpiece of Ottoman architecture, built on a tiny, irregular plot of land. The building has two functions. The ground floor is a Sabil, a public fountain, where people could get fresh water. Its curved facade is decorated with beautiful blue tiles and an ornate brass grille. The floor above is a Kutab, a small school where boys would learn the Quran. Its wooden structure overhangs the street below, This charitable combination was common in Ottoman Cairo. This particular example is considered one of the most beautiful. It is a small jewel of a building, a gift of water and knowledge to the people of the city. The Al-Azhar Mosque is more than just a place of worship. It is a living textbook of Cairo's architectural history. The mosque was founded over 1,000 years ago, in 970. Since then, it has been almost continuously expanded by the city's different rulers. As you walk through it, you can see the layers of history. The original courtyard with its simple arches is from the Fatimid period. The more ornate minarets were added by the Mamluk centuries later. Other additions show the influence of the Ottomans. Each dynasty added its own chapter to the building's story. This makes Al-Azhar a unique and fascinating place to visit. It is not a single, unified design. It is a beautiful and complex collage of different styles, 1,000 years of history contained within one sacred space. High up in the Citadel is the city's most visible mosque. The Mosque of Muhammad Ali is a landmark that can be seen from all over Cairo. Its grand scale is meant to impress. When you step inside, your eyes are drawn upward to the ceiling. It is not just one single dome. The design is a classic Ottoman style. A massive central dome seems to float in the air. It is surrounded by 4 perfect half-domes. In each corner, there are 4 more smaller domes. This complex arrangement creates a vast, open, and uninterrupted space for worship. The effect is breathtaking. It makes the interior feel even larger than it is. The ceiling is a masterpiece of engineering and design. A canopy of domes that creates a sense of heavenly grandeur. In the vast city of the dead, the northern cemetery, you can see the tombs of the great Mamluk sultans. These powerful rulers built grand mausoleums to ensure they would be remembered. A curious architectural detail can be seen on many of these tombs. They often have not 1, but 2 domes. Typically, there is a large, prominent dome. This is the tomb of the male sultan. Right next to it you will often find a second, smaller dome. This was for the women of his family, his wives and daughters. This pairing of domes, one large and one small, is a distinctive feature of Mamluk funerary architecture. It is a quiet, visual representation of the family structure of the ruling class, written in stone against the Cairo sky. In the quiet suburb of Heliopolis stands one of Cairo's strangest buildings. The Baron Empane Palace is an architectural fantasy. It was built by a wealthy Belgian industrialist in the early 20th century. The design is inspired by Hindu and Cambodian temples. Its facade is covered with statues of elephants, snakes, and deities. But the palace's strangest feature is hidden. It was built on a rotating base. The Baron wanted to be able to turn his entire home to follow the sun throughout the day. He wanted every room to have its moment of perfect light. The complex mechanism no longer functions today. The palace is now fixed in place. But the story remains, a testament to the incredible ambition and eccentricity of the man who built this dream house in the desert. On the island of Rhoda, hidden behind high walls, is the Menial Palace. It was built by Prince Muhammad Ali Tewfik in the early 20th century. It is not a single palace, but a large estate with 6 separate buildings. Each building is designed in a different historical Islamic architectural style. There is a grand reception hall in the Ottoman style. Another building is designed to look like a Moorish palace from Spain. A small mosque on the grounds is decorated in the Persian style. These buildings are all set within a vast and beautiful botanical garden. The prince was a great collector and traveler. He wanted his home to be a living museum of Islamic art and design. The result is a unique and eclectic collection of architectural treasures, a journey through history in a single garden. The grand 19th-century buildings of downtown Cairo have a thoughtful feature. Many of them include covered passages or arcades at the ground level. Passageways like the famous Kodak passageway were an important part of the original design. They were created to offer pedestrians a place to escape the harsh Egyptian sun. They provided a cool, shaded space to walk and to window shop. The arcades were lined with elegant European-style stores. They were a key part of making the new downtown feel like a sophisticated, modern city. Many of these arcades have been restored. They still offer a quiet and shady alternative to the busy sidewalk. They are a small, elegant detail that makes the city's downtown a more pleasant place to be, just as their designers intended over a century ago. There is a massive apartment building in downtown Cairo that was once the most glamorous address in the city. It is called the Immobilier Building. It is a masterpiece of Art Deco design, a complex of 2 U-shaped towers. With 370 apartments, it was a city within a city. In the mid-20th century, during the golden age of Egyptian cinema, this was the place to live. Many of the country's most famous movie stars and celebrities had apartments here. The building's grand entrance and modern amenities made it a symbol of a sophisticated, cosmopolitan Cairo. Today it is a little faded, but its elegant curves and sheer scale are still impressive. It stands as a monument to a bygone era of glamour, its balconies still holding the ghosts of movie stars. If you look up at the sides of the old buildings in downtown Cairo, you can find faint messages from the past. These are ghost signs, the faded remains of hand-painted advertisements. You might see the elegant script of a Coca-Cola ad from the 1950s. Or perhaps the name of a long-gone department store, or a brand of European beer. These signs are slowly disappearing, worn away by the sun and the sand. They are relics of a different Cairo, a more cosmopolitan and commercially open city, before the 1952 revolution. They speak of a time when downtown was the vibrant modern heart of a global city. Each faded sign is a small, accidental monument, a quiet whisper from a previous chapter of the city's life. The Qasr El Nil Bridge is one of Cairo's most important river crossings. Its entrances are guarded by 4 magnificent bronze lion statues. They sit on high pedestals, watching the endless flow of traffic. A persistent local myth surrounds these lions. The story goes that the sculptor realized after they were installed that he had forgotten to give them tongues. In his shame, he took his own life. It is a dramatic story, but it is not true. The lions were designed by a French sculptor. They were cast in France and shipped to Egypt. They were never intended to have tongues. But the myth persists. It adds a layer of tragic romance to these powerful symbols of the city. They are not just statues, they are characters in a story the city tells about itself. Abdeen Palace was once the center of royal power in Egypt. It was the official residence of the king, a place of grand ceremonies and political intrigue. After the revolution, the palace was taken over by the state. Today, it is a complex of museums. But the main staterooms have been preserved exactly as they were. Walking through them is a journey into a world of incredible opulence. The style is a lavish mix of European neoclassical and Orientalist design. You can see the magnificent throne room, with its gilded throne and crystal chandeliers. You can visit the personal suites of the king and queen. It is a strange and fascinating experience. The palace is no longer a place of power, but a museum of what power used to look like. Beneath the chaotic streets of Cairo lies a modern marvel. The Cairo Metro was the first subway system in Africa and the Arab world. Building it was an immense engineering challenge. The city has a very high water table, which makes tunneling difficult. But the biggest challenge was the city's history. The ground beneath Cairo is a dense layer of priceless, undiscovered archaeological remains. The engineers had to find a way to bore the tunnels without destroying this hidden heritage. They used special techniques to navigate the complex geology and the layers of history. The result is a clean, efficient and modern transit system. It is a hidden network that moves millions of people every day, a testament to the city's ability to embrace the future without completely erasing its past. The 6th of October Bridge is not just a piece of infrastructure, it is a dominant feature of the urban landscape. This elevated highway slices through the heart of some of Cairo's densest neighborhoods. It was built to solve a problem, but it created a new and strange reality for many residents. In some places, the bridge passes shockingly close to apartment buildings. The concrete roadway is just feet away from people's balconies and windows. residents can almost reach out and touch the cars as they rush past. It is a startling and sometimes unsettling proximity between public infrastructure and private life. It shows how the city has been forced to adapt and build upon itself, layering new solutions on top of old realities, sometimes with jarring results. The informal settlements, or ashwayat, that surround Cairo are often misunderstood. They are not simply slums. They are complex, self-built cities. The buildings are typically made of red brick and concrete. They are built incrementally by families over many years. A family might start with a one-story house. As their children grow up and get married, they add another story, and then another. This results in a unique and dense vertical landscape. The buildings are often unfinished, with steel rebar sticking out of the top, ready for the next floor. This is a sign of hope and future growth. These neighborhoods are a testament to the resourcefulness and resilience of their residents. They are a form of architecture born out of necessity, a city built from the ground up by its own people. Hidden in the Mokattam Hills, on the eastern edge of Cairo, is an astonishing place of worship. The St. Simon the Tanner Monastery is also known as the Cave Church. It is the largest church in the entire Middle East. It is not a building in the traditional sense. It is a series of vast caverns carved directly into the rock of the cliff face. The main amphitheater can seat 20,000 people. The church was built by the Zabaleen, Cairo's community of garbage collectors, who are mostly Coptic Christians. They carved this immense sanctuary with their own hands. It is a place of deep faith and incredible labor. To find such a monumental space, hidden away in the heart of the garbage city, is a powerful and moving experience. On the banks of the Nile, a startlingly modern building stands out against the ancient river. It is the Supreme Constitutional Court of Egypt. The building's design is a deliberate and powerful statement. It is a 21st century interpretation of an ancient Egyptian temple. Its massive, sloping walls and long rows of colossal columns are not copies of ancient forms. They are a modern abstraction of pharaonic power and permanence. The architect wanted to create a building that felt both timeless and contemporary. It is a bold and controversial piece of architecture. It seeks to connect the modern Egyptian state with the grandeur of its ancient past. The building is a conversation between two different millennia, conducted in concrete and glass on the edge of the eternal Nile. In the new city rising from the desert east of Cairo, a new landmark is taking shape. The City of Arts and Culture in the new administrative capital will be home to a massive new opera house. Its design is futuristic and ambitious. A sweeping, wave-like roof covers the main auditorium. The building is intended to be the modern counterpart to a beloved Cairo institution. The old Khedivial Opera House in downtown Cairo was a beautiful 19th-century building. It tragically burned down in 1971. The city has mourned its loss ever since. This new opera house is an attempt to create a new cultural heart for the nation. It is a symbol of the country's aspirations. A gleaming, futuristic palace for the arts, waiting for its first performance in the middle of the sand. The day in Cairo is measured by a sound. 5 times, from before dawn until after dusk, the adhan, or the call to prayer, rings out across the city. It is broadcast from the minarets of thousands of mosques. The calls are not synchronized. They begin in a rolling cascade, one voice joining another, then another. The overlapping sounds create a unique and immersive soundscape. It is a constant, gentle reminder of the city's spiritual rhythm. For a few minutes, the noise of traffic seems to fade into the background. The call to prayer is the city's heartbeat. It is a thread of sound that ties the sprawling, chaotic metropolis together. It is a rhythm that has defined the day in this city for over 1,000 years. A quiet and persistent call to pause and reflect. As the city wakes, the smell of full madams fills the air. This is the quintessential Cairo breakfast. It is a simple, hearty dish of slow-cooked fava beans. Street carts and small eateries across the city have been simmering it in large copper pots all night. In the morning, the beans are mashed and seasoned with olive oil, cumin and a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. It is scooped into warm, flat bread to be eaten on the go. Or it is served on a plate to be enjoyed at a small table on the sidewalk. It is the fuel that gets the city moving. It is a tradition that cuts across all social classes. Everyone from construction workers to bank managers starts their day with full. It is the simple, satisfying taste of morning in Cairo. The traffic in Cairo is more than just chaos. It is a complex and living language. There are no lanes, only suggestions. There are few traffic lights, only a constant negotiation for space. The language is spoken through a symphony of car horns. A short beep can mean, hello, or, I am here, or, watch out. A long blast can mean something else entirely. Hand gestures from a taxi window can part the sea of cars. Crossing the street as a pedestrian is an act of faith. You must walk with a steady, confident pace, making eye contact with the drivers. You become part of the flow. It is a dance of calculated risks and unwritten rules. To an outsider, it looks like madness. To a Cairene, it is simply the way the city moves. A common sight in this river of traffic is the microbus. These are privately owned vans that act as an informal bus system. They are fast, cheap, and a little bit wild. Each microbus has a young man, called a Taba 3, who hangs from the open side door. He is the conductor and the navigator. He shouts the van's destination in a rhythmic chant, trying to attract passengers from the street. He collects the fares, passing change back and forth in a rapid-fire exchange. He slaps the side of the van to tell the driver when to stop and when to go. The Tabba 3 is a master of urban acrobatics and communication. He is a key part of this informal, high-energy system that keeps the city's working population in constant motion. It is a ballet of commerce and chaos. The soundtrack of these streets is often a genre of music called shabi. It means, of the people. This is working-class music, born in the crowded neighborhoods of Cairo. It blasts from the speakers of taxis, tuk-tuks, and microbuses. The sound is a powerful mix of energetic electronic beats, traditional Arabic melodies, and raw, expressive vocals. The lyrics often speak of love, struggle, and the realities of daily life in the city. It is music with a strong driving pulse. It is not polite or polished. It is loud, emotional, and full of life. It is the perfect soundtrack for a city that is always on the move. Shabi is the sound of the modern Cairene street, a vibrant and unapologetic expression of the city's soul. For many men in Cairo, the center of social life is the ahwa, or coffee house. It is a home away from home, a second living room. It is a place to escape the confines of a small apartment and the pressures of work. Men come here not just for strong Turkish coffee or a sweet tea with mint. They come for the company and the conversation. They come to play endless games of backgammon or dominoes. They come to smoke a shisha pipe, slowly and thoughtfully. They come to watch important football matches on the television. And they come to debate politics, religion, and the state of the world. The ahwa is a vital institution of Cairene life. It is a place where time slows down, and the bonds of community are strengthened. The shisha pipe is central to the ahwa experience. It is not just about smoking. It is a ritual of slowness in a city that is always rushing. The process itself encourages patience. The waiter carefully prepares the clay bowl with flavored tobacco. He covers it with foil and places a glowing piece of charcoal on top. The first puffs are taken slowly, to get the pipe going. The shisha is often shared among friends. It becomes the centerpiece of the table, a focal point for conversation. The gentle bubbling of the water, and the sweet smell of the smoke, create a relaxed and contemplative atmosphere. It is an activity designed to pass the time, to stretch a moment into an hour. It is the opposite of the city's frantic energy, a small island of calm. There is one topic that can fill every ahwa in the city with tension and excitement. That topic is football. Cairo is home to two of Africa's biggest and most successful clubs, Al Ahly and Zamalek. The rivalry between them is fierce and deeply felt. It divides families, friends, and neighborhoods. On the day of a match between the two giants, the city holds its breath. The cafes are packed with fans, their eyes glued to the television screens. Every goal is met with either a roar of ecstasy or a groan of despair. After the final whistle, the city either erupts in celebration, with car horns and fireworks, or it falls into a collective somber gloom. It is more than just a game. It is a fundamental part of the city's identity and passion. If you could put the chaotic energy of Cairo into a single dish, it would be koshary. It is Egypt's national dish, and it is a wild and wonderful mix. The base is a jumble of rice, lentils, and several kinds of pasta. This is topped with chickpeas and a layer of crispy sweet fried onions. The whole thing is then drenched in two different sauces. One is a sharp garlicky tomato and vinegar sauce. The other is a fiery chili sauce. It sounds like it should not work, but it does. It is a delicious explosion of flavors and textures. Koshary started in the 19th century as a cheap filling meal for the working class. It is still the ultimate street food, a perfect reflection of the city itself, a little bit of everything, all mixed together. On almost every street corner in Cairo, you will find a juice stand. These small, brightly lit shops are an essential part of city life. They offer a moment of cool refreshment in the city's heat. The most popular drink is asir asab, fresh squeezed sugarcane juice. The rhythmic cranking and grinding of the sugarcane press is one of the city's signature sounds. A worker feeds long stalks of sugarcane into the machine, and a pale green, incredibly sweet juice pours out. It is served in a simple glass, often downed in a few gulps right at the counter. The stands also offer a rainbow of other fresh juices, from mango and guava to strawberry and orange. They are small oases of sweetness and energy, a simple pleasure that makes the city a little more bearable. As evening falls, a familiar, comforting smell begins to drift through the streets. It is the smell of roasting corn on the cob. Small mobile carts appear on street corners and along the Nile Corniche. The vendor has a small grill, filled with glowing embers. He carefully turns the ears of corn, letting them get slightly charred and smoky. When a piece is ready, he pulls it from the fire, dips it in water, and sprinkles it with salt and cumin. The corn is served hot, wrapped in its own husk. It is a simple, timeless snack. People of all ages stop for a moment to enjoy it, often while strolling and enjoying the cooler evening air. It is one of the small sensory details that defines a Cairo evening, a simple taste of summer all year round. One of the most peaceful experiences you can have in Cairo is to sail on the Nile in a felucca. These are traditional wooden sailboats with large, triangular canvas sails. You can hire one for an hour or two, especially around sunset. As the boat pushes off from the noisy, traffic-choked riverbank, a magical transformation happens. The chaos of the city begins to fade away. It is replaced by the gentle lapping of water against the hull and the quiet flap of the sail in the breeze. The setting sun paints the sky in shades of orange and purple. The modern skyline of Cairo becomes a beautiful, silent silhouette. For a little while, you can forget the city's frantic energy and just drift. It is a moment of pure tranquility in the heart of the metropolis. The energy of Cairo builds throughout the week, reaching a peak on Thursday night. In Egypt, the weekend is Friday and Saturday. So Thursday night is the equivalent of Friday night in the West. It is the moment the city lets its hair down. The bridges are jammed with cars, not with commuters but with people heading out to socialize. The downtown cafes and restaurants are packed. The sound of music and laughter spills out onto the streets. People stroll along the Nile, eat late dinners, and meet with friends. The city feels alive with a festive, released energy. It is a collective sigh of relief after a long week of work. The night will go on until the early hours of the morning, a weekly celebration of freedom and friendship. For 1 month every year, the entire rhythm of the city changes. During the holy month of Ramadan, Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset. The city slows down during the day. The streets are quieter, and the pace of life is more subdued. But as sunset approaches, a new energy begins to build. When the fast is broken with the iftar meal, the city bursts into life. Families gather to eat together. The streets fill with people. The nights become a time of celebration and social gathering. Special lanterns, called fawanis, are hung everywhere, casting a magical glow. People stay up late, visiting friends, eating special sweets, and enjoying the festive atmosphere until the pre-dawn, suhoor, meal. It is a time when the city turns itself inside out, sleeping by day, and celebrating by night. A tradition that is centuries old, marks the exact moment of sunset during Ramadan. It is the firing of the Madfa al-Iftar, the Iftar cannon. From its position high up in the Citadel, an old cannon is fired each day. The loud boom echoes across the city. This is the signal that the daily fast is over. It is time to eat and drink. In the past, before clocks and television, the cannon's sound was the only way for the entire city to know the precise moment. Today, it is a beloved tradition. People still listen for it. Children gather to watch the soldiers fire the cannon. The sound is a powerful and nostalgic part of the Ramadan experience in Cairo. It is a boom that means community, family, and the relief of a shared meal. Cairo is a city of festivals, but some of the most vibrant are the brave Mawlids. A Mawlid is a celebration of the birthday of a holy figure, either a prophet or a saint. The Mawlid of Hussein, held in the area around the Great Mosque and the Khan el-Khalili, is one of the largest. It draws huge crowds from all over the country. The festival is a fascinating mix of the sacred and the profane. There are solemn religious ceremonies and processions. But there are also carnival-like festivities, with music, food stalls, and whirling Sufi dances. It is a time of great spiritual energy and communal joy. The streets are packed with people, day and night. It is a powerful expression of popular piety, a folk festival that takes over the heart of the old city. In the midst of these celebrations you might see a mesmerizing performance. The Tanura dance is a form of Egyptian Sufi whirling. It is a spiritual practice that has been turned into a stunning theatrical art. The dancers are men who wear long, heavy, and incredibly colorful skirts. As the music plays, they begin to spin. They spin continuously for a very long time, without getting dizzy. The spinning is a form of active meditation. It is meant to represent the movement of the planets around the sun, and to bring the dancer closer to a state of spiritual ecstasy. As they spin, their colorful skirts fan out, creating beautiful, swirling patterns of color. It is a hypnotic and deeply moving performance, a dance that is also a prayer. The soundtrack to many of these spiritual and cultural moments is the oud. This pear-shaped, stringed instrument is the ancestor of the European lute. It is central to traditional Arabic music. Its sound is rich, deep, and evocative. In Cairo, the oud is still very much alive. You can find small, dusty workshops in the old city where skilled luthiers handcraft these beautiful instruments from wood and bone. And in the evenings you can find intimate clubs and cultural centers where master players perform. To listen to an oud virtuoso in a quiet room in Cairo is to connect with a musical tradition that is centuries old. It is a sound that seems to hold all the melancholy and beauty of the city in its strings. It is the quiet soul of Cairo. Another art form with deep roots in Egypt is raqs sharqi, or belly dancing. In the West, it is often seen through a lens of exoticism and tourism. But in Egypt, it is a respected and celebrated art form. It is a key part of weddings and other special occasions. A good dancer is admired for her skill, musicality, and ability to express the emotion of the music through her movements. The dance is a joyful and powerful expression of femininity. While public performances have become more restricted in recent years, the tradition continues. It is passed down from mother to daughter and taught in dance schools. It remains a vibrant and essential part of Egyptian celebratory culture, a dance of life that has been performed here for centuries. In a covered market near the Bab Zawila Gate, a unique and colorful craft is still practiced. This is the street of the tent makers, or Kayamiya. Here, in small open-fronted shops, artisans sit cross-legged, stitching intricate designs. They are practicing the art of appliqué. They cut small, colorful pieces of cotton fabric and stitch them onto a large canvas background. The designs are often geometric, calligraphic, or inspired by pharaonic art. This craft once decorated the interiors of the massive ceremonial tents used by rulers and wealthy families. Today, the artisans make smaller pieces for home decoration, like wall hangings and pillow covers. It is a slow and painstaking process. To watch them work is to see a beautiful and ancient art form being kept alive, one stitch at a time. Not far from the noise of the city's main squares is a quiet haven for readers. The Sawa El Azbakaya book market is a long, narrow alleyway packed with dozens of bookstalls. It is a treasure trove for anyone who loves the printed word. You can find everything here, from the latest bestsellers to old, dusty academic texts. There are cheap paperbacks, glossy art books, and rare first editions. The books are piled high on tables and shelves, spilling out into the walkway. The market has a quiet, intellectual atmosphere. It is a place for browsing and discovery. It feels like a world away from the traffic and commerce of the rest of the city. It is a wonderful counterpoint to Cairo's noise, a place where the only sound is the gentle turning of pages. A fixture of life in many of Cairo's older apartment buildings is the bawab. The word literally means doorman, but the role is much more than that. The bawab is the building's caretaker, security guard, and information hub. He and his family often live in a small apartment on the ground floor or the roof. He knows everyone who lives in the building. He washes the cars, carries the groceries, and keeps an eye on who is coming and going. He is a source of neighborhood gossip and a fixer of small problems. The bawab is a key figure in the social fabric of the building and the street. He is a symbol of a more traditional, community-oriented way of life that still persists in many parts of this modern metropolis. In some of the older, more traditional neighborhoods, a simple and charming interaction can still be seen. It is a timeless solution to the problem of living in a tall building without an elevator. If you need something from a shop below, like fresh bread, you don't need to walk all the way down. Instead, you can lower a basket from your balcony on a long rope. The shopkeeper puts the bread in the basket and you hoist it back up. Sometimes, the money for the purchase is sent down in the same basket. It is a small, graceful ballet of urban life. It is a moment of quiet cooperation between neighbors. This simple act is a reminder of a time before intercoms and delivery apps, a more personal and direct way of connecting in the vertical city. Cairo is a city of cats. They are everywhere. They nap on the warm hoods of parked cars. They lounge on the counters of shops in the bazaar. They stalk silently through the ruins of ancient temples. Unlike stray dogs, the city's stray cats are generally treated with affection and respect. Many locals leave out small plates of food or bowls of water for them. They are seen as a natural and welcome part of the urban ecosystem. They are independent, resilient, and a little bit mysterious, much like the city itself. Their quiet, graceful presence adds another layer to the life of the streets. To see a cat sleeping peacefully on a 500-year-old monument is to understand something essential about Cairo's character. It is a city that makes room for everyone. Every Friday, under the shadow of a highway overpass, a massive market appears. This is the Souk al-Gomar, or the Friday market. It is a sprawling, chaotic flea market, where you can find almost anything imaginable. The stalls are a jumble of second-hand goods. You can find old furniture, used electronics, antique hardware, and piles of clothes. There are also sections for pets and livestock, with cages of birds, rabbits and puppies. It is not a market for tourists. It is a place where Cairenes come to find bargains, and to sell things they no longer need. The market is loud, crowded and dusty. It is a vibrant and fascinating slice of local commerce, a city of temporary shops that appears and disappears in a single day. On the eastern edge of Cairo is a community with a remarkable story. They are known as the Zubaleen, which means garbage people. For decades, this community has been responsible for collecting the city's trash. But they do more than just collect it. They have created one of the most efficient recycling systems in the world. They bring the garbage back to their neighborhood, and the entire family works to sort it. They separate plastic, paper, metal and glass, with incredible speed and accuracy. It is estimated that they recycle up to 85% of all the waste they collect. This is a far higher rate than most cities in the developed world achieve. It is a highly organized, family-run, informal system that has turned the city's waste into a sustainable livelihood. Hidden within this same neighborhood of the Zubaleen is one of the most astonishing places in all of Cairo. It is the monastery of St. Simon the Tanner, also known as the Cave Church. It is not a building that was constructed, but a space that was carved. The church is a series of immense caverns hollowed out of the face of the Mokattam cliffs. The main amphitheater is vast, with seating for 20,000 people. It is one of the largest churches in the entire Middle East. The walls are decorated with intricate carvings of biblical scenes, all done by hand. To find this monumental and beautiful sanctuary hidden inside Garbage City is a truly surreal and moving experience. It is a testament to the deep faith and incredible industry of the Zabaleen community. Cairo has a famous necropolis called the City of the Dead. But the strangest thing about it is that it is very much alive. For centuries, it was primarily a cemetery, home to the grand tombs of Mamluk sultans. But due to housing shortages and rural migration, people began to move in. Today it is estimated that over 500,000 people live among the tombs. It has become a functioning, if informal, city. There are apartments built into and on top of the mausoleums. There are small shops, workshops, a post office, and even a medical clinic. Children play in the alleyways between the centuries-old tombs. It is a startling landscape where the needs of the living have merged with the resting places of the dead, creating a unique urban environment found nowhere else. The strange Hindu temple-inspired Baranempane Palace is the subject of many dark rumors. The palace in Heliopolis is famously said to be haunted. Local legends tell a number of tragic stories. One of the most popular claims is that the Baron's wife, or perhaps his daughter, fell to her death from one of the palace's high towers. Another story says that his sister, who was also a resident, was found dead in the basement elevator. For years, the palace was abandoned and fell into disrepair, which only fueled the spooky stories. People claim to see strange lights in the windows and hear mysterious sounds at night. The palace has recently been restored, but its reputation as Cairo's most famous haunted house remains a powerful part of its identity. In the busy commercial district of Waria, there is a mosque with a curious feature. The minaret of the Al-Fakahani Mosque is unusually short. It looks like it has been chopped off at the top. This is, in fact, exactly what happened. But the reason is not religious or architectural. In the early 20th century, Cairo had a tram system. The overhead electrical wires for the tram line ran down this particular street. The local tram company complained that the tall, historic minaret was interfering with their wires. So, in a victory for modern convenience over ancient architecture, the top of the minaret was simply removed. It now stands as a quiet, slightly comical monument to the eternal conflict between the old city and the new. For nearly a decade, two massive concrete skeletons loomed over the Nile Corniche. They were the unfinished towers of what was to be the St. Regis Cairo Hotel. Construction began with great fanfare, promising a new level of luxury for the city. But then, due to financial and legal disputes, the project came to a complete halt. For years the two empty towers stood there, open to the elements. They became a kind of accidental monument. They were a very public symbol of stalled ambition and the complexities of doing business in the city. Cairenes nicknamed them the Dubai Towers of Cairo. The towers have since been completed, but for a long time they were a strange and silent part of the skyline, modern ruins before they were ever even finished. On the island of Zamalek, there is a strange and whimsical public park. It is called the Aquarium Grotto Garden. It was built in the 19th century. The main feature of the garden is a series of artificial grottos or caves. These caves are made of concrete, which has been molded and painted to look like dripping stalactites and gnarled tree roots. The winding paths of the garden lead you through these surreal archways and tunnels. The grotto was originally built to house a large aquarium, but the fish are now mostly gone. What remains is this bizarre and slightly spooky landscape. It feels like something out of a fairy tale or a fantasy film. It is a forgotten corner of the city, a monument to the strange and wonderful tastes of the Victorian era. Stepping into the Windsor Hotel in downtown Cairo is like stepping back in time. The hotel has managed to preserve much of its early 20th century character. Its most famous feature is its elevator. It is not a modern, automatic box. It is a beautiful manually operated lift from another era. The cabin is made of polished wood. The door is a wrought iron gate that the operator must pull shut by hand. You ride up slowly, watching the floors go by through the intricate ironwork. The elevator is not just a way to get from one floor to another. It is an experience. It is a small, functioning piece of history, a reminder of a more elegant and leisurely time. It is one of the small, specific details that makes this hotel a beloved institution. The colossal statue of Ramesses II is one of Egypt's greatest treasures. Today, it stands in the grand entrance hall of the new Grand Egyptian Museum. But for 50 years, it had a much less glamorous home. From the 1950s until 2006, the 3,200-year-old statue stood in the middle of a chaotic traffic circle in front of Cairo's main train station. The square was called Meydan Ramesses. The great pharaoh stood there, day and night, surrounded by a constant cloud of exhaust fumes from the city's notorious traffic. The pollution was slowly eroding the ancient granite. Finally, after years of debate, the statue was moved to a safer location. But for 2 generations of Cairenes, the image of the great Ramesses stuck in a traffic jam is an unforgettable memory. Just outside Cairo, the Great Pyramid of Giza stands as a testament to ancient ambition. It is a familiar icon, seen in countless photographs. But its true scale and historical significance are hard to grasp. For over 3,800 years, it was the tallest man-made structure in the entire world. Think about that for a moment. From its completion around 2560 BC until the 14th century AD, nothing built by human hands rose higher. It was only surpassed when the central spire of Lincoln Cathedral was completed in England in the year 1311. The pyramid's long reign as the world's tallest building is a quiet, stunning fact. It speaks to the incredible skill of its builders, and the relative stagnation of architectural technology for thousands of years. The Giza Pyramid Complex is a protected World Heritage Site, but in the 1980s it faced a very modern threat. The government had approved a plan to build a new multi-lane highway right through the middle of the pyramid plateau. The road would have passed just south of the main pyramids, forever changing the historic landscape. Construction actually began. The project was seen as a vital part of modernizing the city's infrastructure. It was only halted after a massive international outcry from archaeologists and preservationists. They argued that the project would cause irreparable damage to the site. The story is a startling reminder of how easily priceless heritage can be threatened by the pressures of development. The ancient wonders were almost sacrificed for a better commute. On a small island in the Nile, there is a theme park called the Pharaonic Village. It is an ambitious attempt to recreate ancient Egyptian life for tourists. You ride on a boat through a series of canals. On the banks, actors in period costumes perform daily tasks. You see them farming, making pottery, and building temples. The park is a strange and earnest place. But the illusion is constantly being broken. As you float past a scene of ancient fishermen, you can see the modern skyscrapers of Cairo in the background. The sound of a distant car horn drifts over the fields. The most famous of these intrusions is the Cairo Tower, which is often visible behind the ancient temples. It is a surreal experience, a place where two different worlds are constantly colliding. In the desert just outside Cairo lies a strange and ancient landscape. It is known as the Petrified Forest. It is now a protected geological park. But this is not a forest of standing trees. It is a vast area littered with the remains of a prehistoric forest that existed here over 30 million years ago. What you see are thousands of massive logs and fragments of wood that have turned to stone. They lie scattered across the pale desert sand, like giant, fallen pillars. The wood was carried here by ancient rivers, and buried under layers of sediment. Over millions of years, the organic material was replaced by minerals, preserving the shape and texture of the original wood. It is a quiet, eerie place, a graveyard of trees that tells a story of deep time. The ancient Nilometer on Rhoda Island was built to measure the Nile's flood, but today it tells a different story. It tells the story of the river's taming. If you go down into the well, you will see the central column with its measurement marks. You will also see that the well is much deeper than the current level of the river. the water at the bottom is quiet and still. It no longer rises to reach the upper marks on the column. This is because the Aswan High Dam now controls the river's flow. The great annual flood is a thing of the past. The Nilometer is still connected to the river, but the river has changed. The dry, high water marks on the column are a silent testament to a lost world. The path of the Nile through Cairo is not entirely natural. The river we see today is narrower than it used to be. In the 19th century, as the city was modernizing, land along the river became extremely valuable. Khedive Ismail and other developers realized they could create new real estate by filling in parts of the riverbank. Large sections of the waterfront were reclaimed from the Nile. This is why neighborhoods like Garden City and downtown Cairo are able to exist so close to the water. They are built on land that was once part of the river itself. This massive engineering project straightened the river's course and gave the city its modern shape. The Corniche, the famous road along the river, is not just a road. It is a dam, holding back a memory. The wealthy island neighborhood of Zamalek is one of Cairo's most desirable addresses. It is home to embassies, art galleries, and upscale restaurants. The island was once known simply as Gezira, which is the Arabic word for island. The name Zamalek has a more humble origin. It is thought to derive from an Albanian word for huts or barracks. In the 19th century, the ruler Muhammad Ali, who was himself of Albanian origin, built barracks for his soldiers on the island. The name stuck. It is a strange and ironic twist of history. The island that is now a symbol of wealth and sophistication is named after the simple huts of foreign soldiers who were once stationed there. It is a small reminder of the many layers of history that make up the modern city. In downtown Cairo, there is a cafe called Riche. It is not just a place for coffee. It is a place with a history of secrets. For much of the 20th century, Café Riche was a famous meeting place for intellectuals, writers, and revolutionaries. The Nobel laureate Naguib Mahfouz was a regular customer. He set parts of his novels here. But the cafe's most interesting features are hidden. It has basement rooms that were used for secret political meetings. During the British occupation, anti-colonial activists used a hidden printing press in the basement to produce revolutionary leaflets. The cafe was a hub of quiet resistance. Today, it is a quiet, nostalgic place. But its walls hold the memory of a time when a cup of coffee could be a cover for planning a revolution. The iconic downtown campus of the American University in Cairo is a landmark of intellectual life. But the land it sits on has a very different history. The campus was built on the site of a former British military barracks. The main building, Ewart Memorial Hall, and the Central Plaza became a key hub for culture and debate in the city for decades. It was a place where new ideas were discussed, and where art and music flourished. It also became an important site for political protest. Students and faculty often gathered in the plaza to demonstrate against the government, or to call for social change. The transformation of this land, from a symbol of foreign military power to a center of free thought and dissent, is a powerful story about the city's evolution in the 20th century. The Qasr El Nil Bridge is famous for its 4 bronze lion statues, but it holds a much smaller, more somber memorial. If you look closely at the railing, you can find a small, easily missed plaque. This plaque marks the spot where British soldiers fired on a crowd of Egyptian protesters in 1919. The protests were part of a nationwide uprising against the British occupation. The killing of protesters on the bridge was a key moment in the struggle for independence. The plaque is a tiny, quiet reminder of this violent event. Thousands of people walk or drive past it every day, completely unaware of its significance. It is a small, almost invisible scar on the body of the city, a memorial to a sacrifice that helped give birth to modern Egypt. Where 2 of Cairo's busiest elevated highways meet, there is a notoriously confusing interchange. The junction of the 6th of October Bridge and the 15th of May Bridge is a complex web of intersecting flyovers, ramps, and underpasses. It is a dizzying tangle of concrete that has earned a local nickname, the Spaghetti Bridge. For an outsider, navigating it is almost impossible. It seems like a chaotic mess. But for Cairene drivers, it is a vital and necessary piece of city infrastructure. They know its secret language of twists and turns. The interchange is a perfect metaphor for the city itself. It is complex, overwhelming, and seemingly chaotic. But somehow, it works. It keeps the city moving, even if it does so in a very confusing way. A small object you might hold in your hand in Cairo tells a big story. The Egyptian £1 coin is a fascinating piece of design. It has a hole in the middle, like some old European coins. But the images on it encapsulate the country's dual identity. On one side you will find the famous golden death mask of the pharaoh Tutankhamun. This is a powerful symbol of Egypt's ancient pharaonic past. On the other side you will find the country's name and the coin's value written in a beautiful flowing Arabic script, in an Islamic style. The coin is a small, everyday object that holds 2 different civilizations in perfect balance. It is a quiet reminder that Egypt is both pharaonic and Arab, ancient and modern, all at the same time. Moored on the Nile, in the upscale neighborhood of Zamalek, is a famous landmark called the Blue Nile. It looks like a large multi-decked riverboat, and it is a popular spot for dinner cruises. But there is a strange secret about this boat. It never moves. It is not actually a functioning vessel. It is a permanently moored entertainment complex that is designed to look like a boat. It has multiple restaurants, a nightclub, and several event spaces, all with beautiful views of the river. It is a landmark that pretends to be a ship. It is a clever piece of design that offers the romance of a Nile cruise, without the inconvenience of actually leaving the dock. It is a building in the shape of a boat, a floating piece of architecture that has become a fixture of the Cairo nightlife. As you wander through the back streets of Islamic Cairo, you might come across large, imposing buildings with a central courtyard. These are wikalas, or caravanserais. In the medieval period, these were historic inns for traveling merchants. A merchant could arrive with his caravan of camels and store his goods securely in the ground floor storerooms. The animals would be kept in the central courtyard. The merchant himself would take a room on one of the upper floors. Many of these structures still exist today, though their function has changed. They have been repurposed as workshops for local artisans, or as low-income housing. They are often dilapidated, but you can still see the strong, simple lines of their original design, a ghost of the city's commercial past. The Museum of Islamic Art in Cairo holds an incredible collection of treasures. One of its most prized objects is a sword that is said to have belonged to Ali, the son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad. The sword is beautifully crafted, and it has an inscription with Ali's name on it. For centuries it was revered as a holy relic. However, modern historians and curators have a different view. They believe that the sword itself is from a later historical period. The inscription with Ali's name was likely added long after the sword was made. This was probably done to increase the sword's spiritual and monetary value. It is a fascinating example of how history and faith can become intertwined, and how even sacred objects can have complex and sometimes surprising stories. In the 19th century, when Cairo was building its first modern water supply system, the engineers did something unusual. They decided that the system's water towers should not be purely utilitarian structures. They should also be beautiful architectural features. They designed ornate towers with decorative ironwork and fine stonework. They were meant to be landmarks that would beautify the neighborhoods they served. Most of these towers have been demolished, as the city's infrastructure has been updated. But a few of them still stand, forgotten, and often neglected. The water tower in Saint Etienne Square in Alexandria is a good example of the style. They are quiet, elegant reminders of a time when even the most practical pieces of city infrastructure were built with an eye for beauty. Our walk through Cairo is coming to an end. Wherever you've drifted to, you don't need to come back. There's nothing more to listen for tonight. Sleep well.